right, fellas. The game's the important thing today. Play football, you've got to use the flanks and you've got to play fair.
Welcome to round 4 action in the SANFL. We're at Woodville Oval this afternoon, the unbeaten teams. West Adelaide is now at Woodville Oval to face the Eagles. And welcome to everyone right across South Australia. And joining me in the commentary booth this time is Gary Window, the Central District legend. Gary, great to have you here. This should be a good game.
Thanks, Neil. Yes, it certainly will be. I'm looking forward to this. We saw the Eagles last week, had a bit of a battle against Sturt. Westie's doing everything right. I believe it's going to be a hard game and anyone could win it.
Well, before we go to the footy, first to the footy quiz from week 1 of the footy quiz at least. And the winner was Ashley Foote of Ranella. And the answer to the question we asked was Port Adelaide, which was the winner of the round 2 match of the day on the ABC. And Ashley, congratulations, you have won one of these, a ABC football, and that's good value. And stay tuned at halftime. We'll have another winner, of course, of the competition, all going for the major prize, which is will be announced later this year, of course, and that will be a trip for 2 people to Sydney to see the ABC panel show, The Fat. So we get rid of that.
Oh, good handball, good handball. He can play, the boy.
A little bit low. We're going down to Peter Caven on the boundary. Peter, great to have you there, but I'll tell you what, Michael passes me quick. As soon as the weather's turned cool, he's up here in the commentary position with us, and he's sent you down to the boundary line.
Thanks, Neil. It's great to be here today for the ABC. It is a little bit chilly down here on the boundary. It's only about 15 degrees, but it's probably a 2 to 3 goal breeze going south to southeasterly. And if I won the toss, I'd probably kick to the scoreboard end. But it's real football weather down here, and we're looking forward to a great game.
Well, the round opened last night, and we had a game at the Adelaide Oval, Port v Norwood. We're going to have some highlights of that match with Port. Well, they struggled in the first half, Gary, but they came through in the second half, and they really gave Norwood a fight, but the Redlegs home by 5 points.
Yeah, Neil, you expect that, wouldn't you? But have a look at Norwood here. They've done well. The start here, Neville Roberts would love this. They're a big, strong side. Everyone thought Port would really put their measure last night, but you can see there Norwood played a good running game, and in a close game, run out winners by 5 points.
Yeah, an unbeaten start to the season for the Redlegs, and we see here part of the comeback of Port. They kicked 11-9-75 to Norwood's 11-14-80, so plenty of shots. And I'll tell you what, Paul Vines, he's quick. Have a look at this one, and feeds it off to Braden Lyle for the goal. As I said, Port Adelaide, big effort in the second half.
Yeah, they certainly did. And with Brett James and those in the Norwood side, though, you can see why they'd be good, and it's a good start for them. We need Norwood, don't we, in Port, the old rivals getting into it. But 5 points for Norwood, that's a damn pretty win.
Yeah, it is, and as I said, unbeaten start to the season. Norwood there, the victors by 5 points. Big crowd, 10,000 people at the Adelaide Oval to witness that clash as we go to the premiership table. As a result of that match, Norwood on top, Westies sitting there in 3rd position with the Eagles. Both have had a bye already, but unbeaten start to the season for both clubs.
Oh, that looks good, doesn't it? And we're with the Western Eagles today, unbeaten so far. This will be a good game today. South can get into the 5 easy. Centrals can. The Bays with a good start. Sturt, Norton 3. They can really make go. But wow, what a season we're going to have.
Well, of course, we're here this afternoon at Woodville Oval. We're just going into the change rooms. As you see there, David Gallagher, one of the Eagles boys on the Adelaide Crows list. And lining up centre half forward, interesting there for the Eagles. Hayden Walker, they're going with the young kids.
Yeah, that's interesting, Neil. When you said that, that's an interesting move. A young lad putting the responsibility on him, and that certainly looks a good Eagles lineup. The Manfield there at centre half back, Hall's been good. Tate's been brilliant in the back pocket. They'll be hard to beat.
And Westies, of course, they've been a bit of a surprise packet as we look in the change rooms there. They've got Adam Richardson, the big guy there, with the ink tattoos all over him. He'll be an interesting proposition today, playing his first game of the season.
Yeah, him and Mello up there. I can't believe Adam Richardson's not playing for the Crows. They had the chance to play him this week, I believe, but that's West Adelaide's good fortune. Richardson, Mello down there forward will be good. Ed Richardson's been burning at centre half forward. They look pretty good. Oh, this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, we should make note there, the 2 rookie coaches of the season. We've got Ron Fuller coaching the Eagles and Ian Borchard for Westies.
Yeah, that augurs well, don't the SANFL? I'm looking forward to the clash of the coaches just as much as the game today. You'll see some good moves. They're giving local talent a go. It'll be a ripper.
And we talked about Westies' unbeaten start to the season. They've looked pretty good from all accounts. They've been in pretty good nick. But Ian Borchard, last time Westies won a premiership, 1983, Ian Borchard best on ground. So maybe there's a bit of karma going for the Westies.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that's a very good point, Neil. Borchard was a terrific player for West Adelaide, and he's coaching the same way now, and I believe this West Adelaide side are going to be a revelation this year. Let's hope they can go on with it.
Well, both sides are out on the ground already. Mike Parsons joins us in commentary, and Michael, Westies, we see they're huddled up, as we said all along. They've been, you know, the surprise packets of the season.
Yes, West Adelaide, perennial almost, aren't they? They just have not quite moved ahead since 1983, the last time they held up the Premiership trophy. But this season, things are going well. Unbeaten, and they're up against another unbeaten side, so a chance for the cream to rise to the top. And you see the man on screen, he's had a lot of press this week, Adam Richardson. Had a solid pre-season, or beyond a solid pre-season, in his words. He's worked his butt off, dropped a few kilos, hasn't dropped on any tattoos, and he'll be looking to kick some goals. You'd really think that he'd have to kick 6 goals today to really put a mark on the pro selectors, Gary.
Yeah, we certainly will, and I tell you what he can do. He's a beautiful kick. There's big Lindsay there, the West Torrens Woodville ruckman, Paul Lindsay. Absolutely, he's a strong bloke, got to do more around the ground, but he can give them a go in there. But you saw big Ben Watkins, the West Adelaide ruckman, who opposed. There he is there. Have a look, he looks nice and mean, doesn't he? So that'll be a very good clash, and we'll have an outcome on the game.
Yes, big Benny Watson's suffered a little bit with knee injuries over the last couple of years, but he really is a great club man, and he's been rewarded for that effort with being bestowed as one of the 3 vice captains of this Bloods unit. But their clash in the middle going to be important, but to me the clash of the day is going to be in the West Adelaide full forward line, where Adam Richardson and Greg Mellor come up against the fullback in Hall and the back pocket in Jamie Tape. Jamie Tape, we saw him last week. He's absolutely in fantastic form. He is one of the class players in this league, and he really does get a lot of possession and also create a lot of run from right back there in that full back line. And also in the back pocket there for the Eagles is little Dutchie Holland. He's a great compliment to those bigger guys. He just gets the ball, tucks it under his arm and runs. But there's the siren. It should be a great game of footy. 2 undefeated teams. The big guys paw the ground and they're into it. Benny Watkins in the van, favoured by the bounce. But it's Lindsay who gets his hand on the ball. It's tight in there. Nick Pesh tries to get it out. Oh, it is tight too. That sets a tone for the day. They're straight in, straight at it. Free kick now. John Floriano, we saw him play a great game on the wing last week. Just goes nice and short. Nick Pesh got some room to move. Plenty of space now. This is important. First entry. Big guys go right in, right under it, and the ball falls to the ground. Butted up there by the West Adelaide team. It's hot. There's a real desire for the ball. Mark Jeffries appeals for the free kick. Nothing doing there. And off the bottom of the pack comes Simon Munn. Restart. Ball goes down. Shocking old bounce. Falls to the favour of West Adelaide. Out they come, stuck in that pocket. There'll be a lot of action in that pocket today. The wind goes that way. Good smother now. Again, West Adelaide through. Dean Howard tried to get hold of the ball. Oh, the tackling's fierce and ferocious early. Manfield now gets the ball. Handball's out. Colville under all sorts of pressure. And again, umpire blows his whistle. Torrent start. Gary Window.
Oh, it certainly is. And West Adelaide, hard to believe. The prediction this year for them was a bottom 3 position. I see them doing a lot better than that now. And also the Eagles, a top 3. And they'll battle. They'll be good enough probably to hold that as they go into the open goal. That's a ripper. Who's that? Into the open goal. Brilliant goal. That's sensational start. Going with the breeze. The Eagles' first blood. Is that a bit of a pun? The first blood against the Bloods. 1 goal the Eagles. West yet to score.
Yeah, excellent start from Matthew Kluzak. He's big, he's strong. The ball just fell out to his advantage. He was in front of the play, ran onto it. He's kicked a lot of goals in his career, and he was just as happy with that one. Fair breeze now favouring that end of the ground. It's coming from the southeast. Peter Caven, he's down the boundary line, keeping nice and warm. He says it's 2 to 3 goals. And the big guys are about to go at it again. Benny Watkins on screen. Again favoured by the bounce. Just takes possession, tries to turn around. It's a 44-degree turning circle, that one. West Adelaide now over the ball. It's just so tight in there. Tackling is obviously the order of the day.
Just quickly for the boundary here, we've got Greg Chapman for the Eagles, Jason Earl and Nathan Bock.
So the youngster Nathan Bock, who had a pretty good game last week, some pretty solid efforts. Umpire Betteridge picks out one out of the ruck contest. It's going to Watkins, so he'll have a kick. look for the hand pass, but now he goes at the hand pass. So he feeds off the hand pass, and Westies are away and into attack. Just the chip pass across there, Scott Hahn, former Port Adelaide player and leading goal kicker for Westies so far this season. He's got 9, and he's got an opportunity through a 50-metre free kick to add to those 9 goals for the season.
Take a good kick against the breeze from there.
Strides in and gives it a fair old whack, and happy with the result. Just to the right, so behind Westies' first score of the day. The Eagles lead it by 5 points.
I tell you what, there was a good kick into there, and that breeze blowing in our commentary position in the back of the grandstand, but that was a good penetrating kick offline, but a good attacking move by West Adelaide up to the southern end against the breeze.
Little Dutchy Holland now kicks the ball to himself, makes sure the ball leaves the hand. Good long kick. Oh, that's a great fly by Tape. Doesn't quite bring it down. Ball falls to the advantage of Colville. He goes back in after it. Little Dean Howard there. Luke Godden now pushes it out. Pesh finally gets the kick away. Goes up to where the big guys set themselves. Again, Kluzak in the play again early. Ball goes towards the boundary line. Stays in now. Howard gets it. He's tackled. Oh, it's tight. It's tough. Holding the ball's the call. And the Eagles through Skipworth. First time I've seen him play. Oh, and that is high on Colville. He will take the free kick.
He cops plenty of those, doesn't he, Michael? There he is. You can see he's a tough little character, though. Always getting after the ball. He'll get plenty. Little blokes have got to cop plenty. They've got to be down there amongst it. And there's an injured player there, and that's Dion Miles.
Yeah, he copped it from that big leap just a few moments ago from Jamie Tape, and he copped it in the ribs, I think, and he's not too well as we look at him.
That'll leave a big hole in the half-back line for West Adelaide if he can't continue, but it's Colville. Hands over the ball, head over the ball. It's a good kicking style. The wind gets hold of the ball, pushes it left. The goal umpire goes trotting away, puts up just the one finger. Gavin Colville, he'll know where to aim it next time. Significant wind out there. Brings up another score. 1-1-7. And they lead the Bloods just a solitary point at this point.
The ball back into play and long. And a pretty good kick into the breeze, and Watkins just sits under and takes the mark. He'll look to feed it off. And the options are fairly well covered, so he chips it out wide, out there on the far side of the ground. And I think it might have been Dempsey. And another chip down the ground. Good mark by Mellor. Tried to get the hand pass away. It was smothered. And now Beveridge butters up for the Eagles. And he's got a running player in Pesh. Pesh takes it, breaks, kicks down the far side of the ground. And Watkins, he's had a great first quarter. And now it's Dempsey. Breaks away for the Bloods. Goes in short. Well, they managed to scramble the ball forward again. That was Oliver. And now, well, that looked to be dropped. But Oliver butters up. He finally gives it to Dempsey. He looked to drop it as well. The umpire's letting it go. Finally, it's caught inside, is it? No. Dempsey has another go. And will he be pinged this time for holding the ball? No, he won't.
Probably the bloke going for the ball, and they let him get away with that, but he's certainly socks down. The little blokes will have a fair bit to play in this game today because of the conditions. Windy always causes mistakes, and the little players, I believe, and Watkins starting well, they'll have to feed off him.
Umpire chooses to throw the ball up this time. Out by hand through the Bloods. Good kick into the attacking zone, 10-half forward. Oh, but that's a good leap by Gallagher. Play on now. Holland gets the ball on the left leg, comes out wide looking for Manfield, tucks it into the chest. Good safe mark. He's a strong man. He'll hold down that centre-half forward position today. Floriani with his second touch. Moves back, gives himself some space, looks at his option. Manfield out wide, he'll go that way. And again, Manfield gets his second mark in short time. Goes longer this time, looking for Kluzak. Oh, that's a fantastic mark. That is Christopher Kluzak with a longer hair this year. That's where we saw him play all last year, doing exactly that. He's had a couple of runs in the seconds to start the season. Didn't recognise the long locks of Christopher Kluzak, but he's a beautiful kick of the ball.
That was sticky fingers, wasn't it? In these conditions, that was a brilliant grab. He's known for that and can kick goals. As you said, had a few games in the reserves. But I tell you what, lines up, he'll kick that. That's a beautiful kick right through the middle. Good start for the Eagles, going with the breeze. An absolute wonderful start. Their second goal. 2-1 the Eagles, leading West 1 point. And we're only 7 minutes into the first quarter. But a big breeze here today.
Yes, you'd think that they'd be looking for a 3 or 4 goal advantage at quarter time. And you must say already the Eagles' forward line is looking a lot better than what we saw last week against a very dogged Sturt defence.
I'll tell you what, though, that breeze that way is strong. You can see the way they carry that ball. It's going to make a big difference today, and you have to get a big score with the wind, or you've got to play short and run it up into the breeze.
Good start by the Eagles, good start by the Cluzak brothers. First 2 goals of the match to Chris and Matthew. So the ball out of the centre immediately by the Bloods, and they're working the ball forward, and great tackle there. And eventually, well, it came. John McCarthy just swinging around his opponent, Ed Richardson, who's been in good nick for the Bloods this season, but McCarthy had the better of him then. McCarthy, I don't think he was sighted last week against Sturt until the second half, but he's got first up battle today, marked by, well, handed off a hand pass very quickly there was Jones. Now still going backwards, gets it across to Chris Barrett, and he squares it across to the other side of the ground. They're looking for a switch of play. Eventually they come back to Jamie King in the centre of the ground. Now King comes out this side of the ground. He's got Dean Howard. He's pulled up a little bit, and, well, he just ran himself into trouble then, didn't he? But eventually got free, got it to half forward. Awkward kick, punched away by Gallagher at the front for the Eagles. Eagles have the numbers. Pesh is over the ball, coming in very hard. Great clash. Pesh has been hurt. That was great collision, that one. Dean Howard got the better of it for Westies. Now they get it forward, scramble it forward, Westies. Across to Hollands, shows a bit of skill, but then not with the foot. And eventually, well, it'll come loose there in the middle. They work it hard. They're working so hard over the ball, Westies, putting a lot of pressure on in defence and in attack. And, well, they scramble the ball clear, and they'll get a shot at goal there. Hollands just off the toe poke, gets a point.
I tell you, a good play by West Adelaide. Now, that was desperate stuff going against the breeze. And you have a look at Pesh there. He was hit very hard, and that was Howard that went through there. Going hard at the ball, Pesh on the ground too. He looks a bit sore and could come off the ground.
Yeah, Nick Pesh doesn't say excuse me. He goes in hard at the ball. Dean Howard just got there a millimetre sooner, was in and under, and he caused Nick Pesh some pain. Kick out now, Jamie Tate marks it, comes out wide looking for Colville. He's caught under it a little bit. Tim Symes on the ground, butters up. Symes tries to lay the tackle. A lot of Eagles around the ball. Finally it goes out, and James McClure hands the ball back to the boundary umpire.
Interesting start to the game. We're 10 minutes into this first quarter. 2-1 the Eagles, but West having some fun trying to go against the strong breeze.
Westies look okay. Falls to the advantage of Hollands. It's, oh, nice kick too, and Greg Melor tucks it into his chest. Fairly obvious the game plan now from Westies to get the ball into that central centre-half forward position, 40 to 50 metres out. That's the way they're aiming. And then you've got people of the quality of Greg Melor to kick some goals for you, and you've always got a chance to score. In he comes now, that long left foot kick into the teeth of the wind, drifts off to the side, and Lindsay, big ruckman, come over from Geelong this year, takes the mark, hands off to Gallagher. He turns a little circle, finds Floriani by himself. He turns and he goes long, looking for the centre-half forward, but over their heads. Falls now to Manfield, gets off a very slick handball to Mark Jeffries. Mark Jeffries centres the ball, Chris Cluzak overruns it, and well picked up by Christopher Chubb. Out they come now. That's Cassini out on the other side. Cassisi, you must get that right, out on the far side.
Oh, you will, because you'll get plenty of kicks.
He is a ball getter. Again, they come back in ball. That's a lovely kick, and Chris Barrett takes possession. Oh, he goes to go, runs into trouble, finds a handball, and there's lots of Bloods players all bunched up at that hot spot that we've talked about. And that looks like Dion Miles, is it?
Jamie King.
Jamie King.
It goes into the goal square there, pushing and shoving down the left forward pocket, down the southern end of the Woodville Oval. I've got nightmares of this oval. I coached here. I think John Roberts kicked 16 against us one day. I can remember kicking from every... And down the west bench, Peter Caven. Who's down on the bench?
Well, Westies have already had one interchange. Compulsory. Dion Miles has come off. We've got Tim Symes has gone on for him. So we have Paul Jarvis, Ben Marsh and Dion Miles.
Floriani's got it over to McClure into the centre of the ground. Manfield tries to get away to Beveridge, gets it back to Manfield. They're fiddling around a bit. Now it's wide to Gallagher. Gallagher for the Eagles. What can he do? Onto the left foot. Too short, lad. Too short. It's going to come off, though. It's dropped there. Allowed Cluzak to get it away to Gallagher under a lot of pressure. Gets it back to Chris Cluzak. He can't handle it. Wesley's putting some pressure on there. Good play. Out to Nathan. Handball wide. They're off again, and Barrett, usually a good kick. He puts it in the slot. Symes down there, didn't run hard enough at the ball. Off hands, Ed Richardson. Long handball. Gets a free kick. A little bit of ticky-touch wood. But Richardson with a free kick, right half forward flank for West Adelaide.
Yeah, John McCarthy picking up Richardson at this point in time. Bit critical. If Richardson can get on top at centre half forward and give his quality forward some opportunities at the ball, then again, that's going to be the advantage of West Adelaide, but that is not going to help them.
What a shocker of a kick.
Well, Colville cut it out for the Eagles, and he goes wide to the other side of the ground, but not really much to aim at. And in fact, he's just kicked it to a competition, and Westies will come back into the middle with Jones. Well, that was a poor hand pass, but they get away with it. Finally, they butter it up. Hollins, he's loose around the centre half forward area, kicks it inside 50, and Richardson leading out. He's paid a mark.
Oh, no, that's not a mark.
It did hit his hands.
God, Neil, you called it right anyhow. You called it right, mate. He didn't mark that.
Oh, it's not bad. When you look at it a little bit slower.
Yeah, it looks good in slow-mo, doesn't it?
I think the rule says that the ball needs to be stopped and controlled. As we see Nick Pesh suffering from that injury we saw earlier. He comes off, replaced by Greg Chapman. But it's big Adam Richardson, the tattooed one. Left footer comes in again. You just see the wind hold up the ball. And the competition's in the goal square. Mello now, hand over the ball, does nowhere to go. I've lost it behind the tree.
Symes.
Tim Symes gets it, hands the ball back in. Oliver now, he's slippery, but he gets caught. And again, little Dutchy Holland, he just loves to tuck that ball under his arm and go. And the Eagles now clear through James McClure, relieve the pressure. Gallagher, he's getting his hand on the ball a lot earlier. He backs off, looks back into the middle where Beveridge has put his tent up. He handballs it on, and the Eagles, it's a good build-up, plenty of space. Watkins works back. Chris Kluzak now has got the opportunity. He's outnumbered 2-1, 3-1. Watkins again. He's working hard for a big guy. It comes back out. Oh, quick scrambled kick out by West Adelaide. This time it's Barrett. He's in all sorts of trouble. Oh, it's tough in there again. This time, Luke Nathan. He's got nowhere to go. No assistance at all. Falls to Mark Jeffries for the Eagles. And he's off and running. Straightens the body. Sees the vacant goal square. Goes long, and again, the wind comes into play and pushes it across the face of goal for a point.
Well, pretty good, but they're trying a little bit short stuff, aren't they, at times? And with this breeze, you'd think they want to go deep. Jeffries did the right thing there, going long, only the kick was offline as Westies get out of trouble. The short pass to Howard in the back pocket.
They come out this commentary side. Luke Nathan takes a good mark, and he hasn't got much ahead of him, so we'll just be interested to see what he does. He'll have to come along this grandstand flank, just chips it across first. So keeping with the policy of trying to get it inside if they can, Westies, and leading out, strong mark, and quickly handing off was Symes. And Westies move forward in numbers again. Barrett's running, good Shepherd there in the background by Watkins. Barrett has a bounce, he's inside 50, and just chips it up forward to Greg Mellor in the pocket. And Mellor from the left side will have a good shot at goal here.
Watkins has had a fantastic start to the game, getting his hand on the ball. That time he knew what the team thing to do was, and he's the one that laid the Shepherd. Allowed his man to get just a nice, easy leg. And Greg Mellor, good hands, good athlete. He'll kick on goal.
They need a goal, don't they, West Adelaide? They need a goal.
Kicking from the right side of the ground this time for the wind. Left footer should kick this one. Oh, the wind gets it, pushes it right across. Tricky wind, difficult to control.
Left footer it was, and I tell you what's easy to say up here. You know that he's got to kick for that right post, right to the right post, because the breeze blowing into our faces down at that southern end, but not good enough. Westies 3 points. They've missed some chances down there. The Eagles 2-2.
Yes, that breeze just coming from the right of screen as we look at it now, just slightly from that end of the ground. And the ball straight back down the middle. Lindsay takes it. Quick hand pass from McClure across the top. It didn't find a body, and as a result, Symes takes it. He's got a player loose on the far side of the ground. He doesn't find Hollins. He doesn't find anybody. He finds some space. Hollins finds the ball. Westies still control it. That's Kasisi. Goes inside with the left leg. Symes has moved himself to centre half forward, but just under the ball, and Beveridge cuts it out for the Eagles. This side of the ground he'll come across to Floriani. Floriani outnumbered and outreached by Ed Richardson. He comes over the top and takes the mark. Looks into that hot spot again at centre half forward. Mellor comes out, punched away by Jamie Tape. Gives a hand pass across to Colville. Dummies, tries to get away. Oh, gee, their tackling's good and their pressure's good, West Adelaide. They force it inside the area again, and Chris Barrett just shoots, no, doesn't shoot on goal. Goes with the team thing in over the back. Damien Oliver couldn't get it. Damien Oliver's a jockey. David Oliver is a player, and that's over the boundary line. We'll have a throw in.
Missed them all though, didn't he? And you called it dead right. It probably should have gone for goal there, but looked for the loose player, and Oliver didn't find him.
I've got to mention the tackle of Dean Howard. That's a second great tackle that he's had in the game. Ball free now in the 50 for West Adelaide, but it's Colville for the Eagles that drives long. And again, that man Watkins having a great first quarter. He's in the way, gives off to Greg Dempsey. He goes to that hot spot that we've identified, and Mellor is his target. Gets him 50 out. Too far out to score into this win. The left foot will go short, looking for the lead of Tim Symes. Symes has got it out in front of him. The boundary line looms large, and there'll be a restart.
4 marks to Mellor already. That's a good start. He's really putting an option up there for him. The kicking's a bit bad, but for all our viewers at home, it is very windy here, and going to that southern end is very difficult.
The ball back into play. Lindsay does his best and gets it an advantage for his side. It's just quickly kicked away, and I think that's Kasisi. It's ended up with him. And, geez, a two-sided player, looks good, and just chips that ball inside. And who's that?
Scotty Hahn?
Scotty Hahn, hard man Hahn, who's just got collected around the head. And the umpire said, well, that's sufficient to bring him back. As we have another look.
What did he get that for? Because he's only oiled his head.
Well, he put his hands to his face, so I think the umpire took pity on him. So this makes it a rather easy shot for goal, you'd think. Jamie Tate being penalised, taken back to the line, and Hahn slots through. A goal for Westies.
I tell you what, they needed that West Adelaide, didn't they? And that's the one against the breeze. They'll be like dog's teeth down there. Let's go into Peter Caven and have a look at the Eagles bench.
Yeah, we just got another change there. Number 40 Walker's come off, the young 18-year-old Bock.
I tell you what, that was a good goal to West Adelaide. Have a look there. They all want to get out there, don't they? Shake their head, scratch their head. And that was a good goal by West Adelaide. That against the breeze will be like dog's teeth today, won't they, up there? Because you'll need to get goals against the breeze to win this game.
Mellor is proving to be important. Again, Watkin goes up, but it's Lindsay that gets his hand to the ball. The ball's just pushed forward, but Beveridge, he's a great player. Come up from Tasmania a couple of years ago and really has been an asset to this team. Oh, stand up, son. That's Chapman that gets the bump, but he gets it off. Pushes now through McClure, goes forward. Bock gets his first chance to go at the ball, finds himself under it, and that's Godden, just comes around, goes for the safety of the line. Oh, it's a good kick too. Puts Luke Nathan right in the van. Ball's built out towards the boundary line. Whistle goes. And Dean Howard on screen. He's had a couple of good defensive tackles so far.
Well, Watkins and Howard have both been brilliant in the hard work department for the Bloods.
Lindsay gets his hand to the ball, goes to nowhere in particular. The Bloods with the chance, dribbles it out now towards the line. A good defensive kick, but Colville tries to keep it in. Fails to do so, and there'll be another boundary throw-in.
Bit unlucky there, Colville. Eagles by 5 points, just entering time on. And we're at centre wing. 2 ruckmen go at it, and I think Lindsay might have got the better of it. Colville, oh, well, he was over it just for a moment. It was tapped away. I think it was Barrett did well, and now being held under there by a Westies player. And finally Chapman, he's thrown out of there by Symes. And eventually the umpires call for it again.
I love the way the SANFL umpires just let the game go until the ball is really stopped. It just brings the crowd into it. That competition for the ball is one of the things that we do like in Australian rules football, rather than maybe some of the possession game we see at a different level. But there it is again. Competition for the ball. Get after it, boys. Find the agates. And there's the whistle. They'll restart.
So, Gary, the one percenters that Ron Fuller talked about for the Eagles last week, very important.
There's the web address.
Just a reminder about the web address. Get your tips in, local.abc.net.au/SAFooty. Follow the links and get your tips in as Westies come away again through Hahn up to centre half forward. Gee, they're good at putting it in there. They're well drilled. And finally to the front, that was Kasisi just on the boot. Gets it forward. Coming out was Richardson. He's trying to bullock his way through. Tate, he was over the ball. Finally it's Mellor picks it up for Westies. He's besieged by the Eagles in Holland and pulls up the play there just at half forward for the attacking side, the Eagles.
You can see West Adelaide drilled and also making front position. Richardson made sure he got the front position on that occasion. Vital against the breeze.
Ed Richards that time gets his hand to the ball, thumps it long, works very nicely by Tate near the boundary line, comes out with a big screw punt. Oh, and it's a good catch too by Dean Howard. Goes short with the left foot, inboard, through now Barrett. Oh, Barrett ends up with the ball again. There's the opportunity. This time they go out wide and it comes unstuck. Beveridge just dances around his opponent, then applies to Shepherd, and it's McClure that goes long down the wing. Ball put on the ground by Skipworth, it was, coming back from the Crows this week. And again, entry into the forward line through Manfield. Chris Cluzak gets his opportunity, but he's got the ball. He doesn't know which way to go. Poor handball, gets it intercepted. Good defensive work from West Adelaide. They're just pushing, pulling and pushing and bullocking that ball, getting it out of the defensive 50. And then through Chris Barrett, they come out wide. Scooter Hand gets his chance to put his hand on the ball. Over the top of it, Beveridge goes. Oh, the umpire's just letting it go on. Finally, the ball is brought to a halt. The umpire blows his whistle at the right time. The crowd's into it. I love the local footy.
I tell you, you're dead right letting it go, but it makes a far better game of it. There was a few little minor things there, all let go, and the players can play to that.
Again, through Hahn, West Adelaide go forward. Scooter Hahn has been an excellent acquisition for West Adelaide, coming in from the Magpies this year. Ball in dispute on the half-forward line. Tim Symes, oh, good move for a big fella. Comes out there through Hollands. Again, they go into that spot that we've identified, 40 metres out from the goal. Adam Richardson this time tries to use what pace he's got. Just gets beaten for the ball through Skipworth. Out it comes now. Colville on the far side. He goes in looking for Bob.
Oh, he's best on ground.
And Dean Howard attacking, defending. He's been great.
He's been the best player on the ground so far. That's a great kick. He kicks up to centre wing. There's Cassisi. He's high up there too. This kid can do anything. I like his two-sided play. Really showing out. And West Adelaide doing a pretty good job in this first quarter against the Breeze. There's the long kick, but that's allowed Big Lindsay, the West Torrens Woodville ruckman, to mark at centre half back for the Eagles. He need to do some more with Watkins playing that kick behind the play. Look at him down there. This kick will go that way if he kicks long. Goes more to the flank. The big players are all there. The Flyers are there. It's off hands. The Eagles with a chance to go through. They do through Manfield. Long. And down there, it's all Chubb in front. Can't mark for the Bloods. Gets the handball back to Howard, and they'll get out of trouble.
Yeah. Oh, there goes somebody. So that's Dean Howard again. We've identified him as one of the best players on the ground so far. And again, he does the hard stuff and comes up with the Sharon. Looks inboard now. Spots a player at centre half back. That's Greg Dempsey. Can't come up with it. Colville's pretty good over the ball. Skipworth looks for it. Beveridge it was, it just flicked it out. No, it wasn't, it was McClure. Box in there, he's trying for it. Again, the crowd's into it. They love it when the ball's in dispute. And these SANFL umpires, hats off to them. They know how to umpire the game. It's fabulous. It just lets it roll. But right now, there's a restart.
Really is good pressure football down here from the boundary line. Supporters are really getting into it.
Peter Caven joining us on a nice warm day at Woodville Oval. McClure, good hands. Skipworth now goes long, vacant goal square. This is going to bounce.
Yeah, bounce where?
It would bounce. It had to come down and bounce, but it hit the point post. And again, the whistle goes. It'll be a restart.
Yeah, it's just waiting for the umpire to come around there. Throw it back into play. 5 points the margin. Watkins, well, you'd think there'd be a free kick in there. There wasn't.
You ought to be an umpire. Well done.
The umpire choosing not to pay a free kick. The Eagles lead this one at quarter time. It's been a tight one. 2-2-14 to West Adelaide, 1-3-9. And Gary, yeah, as I say, a very tight one. Westies would be probably pretty happy with that result at quarter time, just a 5-point margin.
Neil, that was a pretty good quarter. The Eagles lead by that 5 points and kicked a couple, but it's not really enough. West Adelaide, I believe, played the better in that. Have a look at Watkins there, having a go against Jeffries, and that's what you want in footy. You've got to stand up for yourself. Now, see, in the AFL football, there'll be 6 players there in a melee. What a lot of rubbish. But back to the first quarter, West Adelaide, I believe, took the honours because there's a strong breeze here, and the Eagles looked as though they reckon it would just happen for them, but West Adelaide, with a real desperate attack on the ball, went up there, they kicked the 1-goal-3. That easily could have been 3-goal-1, but a good quarter of footy, the first quarter at the Woodville Oval.
Yep, the Eagles 2-2-14, we just saw the score there. Westies 1-3-9, 5 points the difference at quarter time. Well, no doubt SANFL football is tight, Gary.
Oh, is it what? That was a good call. I was excited there. I tell you, it was as rough as guts, but it was really good fun.
Yeah, the umpires, as we said right along during the commentary, they've let things go and they've let people sort it out.
I think, and that's the way to play footy. All of us are brought up that way in the backyard with our dads and your brothers playing and getting knocked around. You're used to the little ones over the shoulder and getting a little biff in the nose every now and again. Long as it's not deliberate and everyone's going for the ball, it's good. And that was exactly like that first quarter. Terrific to watch.
Yes, there's a couple of hard nuts in there, isn't there, for sure, as we have a look. Just the single goal kickers so far. The Cluzac boys doing well for the Eagles.
That was a good effort by both those, and they'll need goals from today to win. It'll be interesting this second quarter to see what they do. Match stats, you can see West Adelaide, that's amazing. You'd expect that, Neil, against the Breeze, 53 going against the Breeze is a good effort. They need to kick short. They did that with the Eagles with the 37. They were longer, but probably didn't. That's all they had to do.
It was interesting. You mentioned about the amount of possession, but interestingly too, considering Westies was kicking into the Breeze, inside 50, 13 entries for West Adelaide versus 10 for the Eagles.
Well, that's it. That is very interesting, and that shows what we were talking about in that first quarter. West Adelaide had more of the ball, they used it shorter, but those entries inside the 50, the 13 to 10, well, that's a pretty good effort, and that shows West Adelaide are really going to have pressure on if they can continue that with the Breeze in the second quarter.
Well, of course, we mentioned the rookie coaches now, and we also mentioned during the call, Ron Fuller, the Eagles coach, was very big last week at three-quarter time on 1%ers, on getting in there, hitting the ball hard, and that's obviously what both sides have been able to do.
I think you're right, but I think West Adelaide outplayed them in their own game there. West Adelaide were far better in that first quarter at that very thing, and that was great.
We're going to have a look at a couple of the key plays in the first quarter. First up, we're going to have a look at a Cluzac goal, and that was Matthew Cluzac just running into open goal, getting on the end of the ball as it's going forward.
Had to kick it with the Breeze, he did it, and that was a great kick. Just running in, had to do that. You can't miss him. He didn't. He's an experienced player.
A lot of pressure from West Adelaide, as we've mentioned several times. We have a look here. There's Bock breaking clear, or he thought he was clear, but you just watch the Westies boys follow up.
Have a look at that tap away from there. This is what West Adelaide have been in close. They've been very good at blocking the ball up. Doing it there, you can see it gets on. Then they get out of trouble down to Hahn on centre wing. He'll tap it away, got a little push in the back. And here's what we're talking about the umpires. Letting it go, trying to get it clear, but a very rough passage of play. A lot of tackling, good tackling by both sides.
Don't know if Sam Jones would have been happy. No. He got back slammed out of that, so I don't know if he would have been real happy.
Yeah, no, that's for sure. I think that's a good point, but it's been like that.
The interesting other thing, when we saw that highlight, that Westies managed not only to put that pressure on in defence, but they also managed, when the ball was kicked out, they had a couple of players loose.
They've got a set plan, haven't they? You called that in the first quarter. They've certainly got that going through the corridor, but they seem to know where their loose players are, and they're using them up beautifully. A good quarter by them.
Well, what can you expect from the second quarter? Because we're going to find out anyway what we're going to hear from the second quarter. We're going down to the boundary and to hear what Ron Fuller's been talking about with his men.
Yeah, Ron really wants a lot of running this quarter up into the wing
coming off
and use the ball through the midfield and in the back run, really running hard up.
Skippy and Chappie, you change. Hopper off, you change there. Mark across half forward, Bocky at centre half forward. Come up the ground, Bocky want to contest all the time. Don't let that long weeds. Cluey stay there, Flo, Gavin in the centre, Prezi, Matty Manfield.
One-on-one contest all around the ground and use the ball when you've got it.
Peter, interesting, just one-on-one contests. I mean, that's all we've had, isn't it?
It is. It's really been like that. And I can see Ronnie Fully wasn't upset at all, was he? It's unusual for us that are used to coaches, if you're down at quarter time, to really give you a blast.
Just a reminder about the footy tipping. Get online at local.abc.net.au. Get online, get your tips in. And stay tuned at half-time. We'll be looking at the top 10 footy tippers of the week, and I think it's pretty crowded given its early rounds. And, well, there have been some upsets, but I tell you what, it's pretty crowded in that top 10.
It certainly is, and with Norwood last night, a great victory of them. And this game can go any way today. West Adelaide started well, yeah, very interesting. How do you remember that, the website? I get mucked up with all them.
It goes on and on. But let me tell you, I can't tell you what the link is, but if you get on local.abc.net.au/SA Footy, you will find the tips. Let's go down to the boundary. Peter Caven has an interview with one of the Eagles boys.
Yeah, I've got Sean Jackson from here, reserves coach. Jacko, you wouldn't have been real happy with that first quarter?
No, we really didn't take advantage of the Breeze, so we're up against it a little bit at the moment, but I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I think Westie showed if you could play on it all occasions, running it up into the Breeze and use the ball.
Yeah, they played particularly well. They certainly did run it up, so hopefully we can do the same thing and be up by half-time.
Thanks very much, Jacko. Good luck.
Well, there you go. Running it into the Breeze, all important. We go to the action in the second quarter. Your commentator, Michael Parsons.
Yes, and there's plenty of action in the first quarter. No doubt we'll continue on. Some good players there in the first quarter for Westies. I thought particularly Dean Howard and Benny Watkins, the big ruckman, did well. Matthew Kluzak was a target for the Eagles. And umpire Ron Bettridge about to get the ball underway, just waiting for all the players to settle. That wind still blustery, still cold up here in the back of the grandstand.
Oh, don't be such a sook.
Gary Window, you live out of Elizabeth, used to that icicle wind blowing off the water. But here it is, Ron Bettridge puts the balls down. Watkin gets a good run out. Doesn't get his hand to us. Lindsay, though, McClure snares it out of the middle. Straight on. Already you see the wind just hold the ball up. And underneath that is Dean Howard. Best man on the ground in the first quarter. And he started the second quarter just the same. Watkins now gives him a lead through centre-half back out to this side of the ground. He goes that way. Big fella's working hard, lumbering after the ball. Oh, good tackle too on Floriani, who made it there. Again, Skipworth on the left. Good kick, comes back in. But again, the competition is there. Hot from West Adelaide. Picked up by Dempsey. Off now to Howard. Just steps around his man. Puts the ball on its way. And it's carrying the other way. Tim Symes held down. And that allows John McCarthy to come over the back.
I tell you what, I'm just going to say, Michael, that they can't let the wind do it from West Adelaide. It's a very tricky breeze, but the wind won't win it for you, as the Eagles have stayed. If they started off using the ball well, and that's a good bump away there by Howard. They let the ball drop down, taken by Dempsey, gets a handball away. They can't get it clear there. Taken by Jeffries, good handball indoor. Indoors to Skipworth, that went straight to the feet of his opponent. Bounced down at centre-half forward. The Eagles going into this strong breeze in this second quarter.
Yeah, interesting hand pass that, as we see Dean Howard there, just shaking his head. But that hand pass went at the foot of McClure, who had his back turned, so I don't think he was quite ready for it. And turning in, and Howard cops another clash. Well, he's holding his head again, and I don't blame him, because Benny Watkins caught him flush, and that's a blood rule. And when he turns around, I'm sure Watkins will have some blood there somewhere. A little bit of claret showing as we have another look.
Yes, there it is there. You'll see coming up. In their hard clash of heads. There's nothing worse than that. Both of them, Barrett also, and Watkins.
A Liverpool kiss.
Yeah, it's a Watt, and he runs off down. It's funny, in the old days, when you see this little bit of blood, you wouldn't be game to come off once with a little bit like that. But nowadays, and fair enough, we know what it's all about. The blood rules work. There's two players come off. But Watkins, you can see at the top of the nose, player resume. But West Adelaide will have to do something with this breeze. They can't just let it do with it, because the Eagles will certainly lift in the second quarter.
That's going to hurt West Adelaide, because the players that just come off there, in Chris Barrett and Benny Watkins, you see there, they've been two of their better players, and already you see Lindsay easily get his hand to the ball, and that is very undisciplined.
That was bad play by Howard. Now, he's played very well, this player, very strong player, and that wasn't any good, that attack on young Skipworth.
Just back to that blood, Peter Coven, you would have had a nice look at that. It didn't look very pretty.
No, they've got a couple of blood rules down here. Barrett's also come off, and Jarvis has gone on while they patch up Watkins.
And just while you were talking, the ball's been another entry into the forward 50, this time by the Eagles, and Kluzak Matthew has an opportunity to kick his second goal. 5 points to margin in favour of the Eagles at the moment.
Has he learned from Mellor's kick in the first half? The wind will get it, push it wide. Oh, it's a good kick.
Jeez, he learned, didn't he? Got that one through. The Eagles add another goal, their third of the match, 3-2-20. Westies 1-3-9, and Kluzak Matthew has his second for the match.
You talk about home ground advantage. That is probably one of the big things about home ground advantage. These guys just come out here, practice Tuesday, Thursday night.
Have a look at this. Whoa, whack there. Oh, that's the old punch tackle. And then they come out of there. There's some hard work in there. Oh, footy's great. Rough. Have a look at that. Here's another one that we've picked up. Some hard footy. Oh, coat hanger there. Down they go. I tell you what, it's on at the Woodville Oval.
Yes, local footy. It's hard, it's tough. It's real footy. Out of that lot comes Hollands. He tumbles the ball forward looking for Ed Richardson. He overruns it, and again the ball's in dispute on the ground. Oliver in there. He's over the top of it. John McCarthy also, and Gallagher, he's the last one to get up. He'll be looking for a really good performance today to build on what he did last week. Played well against Sturt. Ball restarts. Tim Symes.
Four kicks, two handballs, Gallagher, so he's been in it early.
Floriani, he's also being in it early. Banfield with a deft little touch out through Holland. McCarthy's the one with the boot on the ball. Out towards the boundary line. Oh, it puts the brakes on, goes back the other way, gives Skipworth a chance. But Oliver, good pace, comes back over it, knocks it out of bounds, gives them a second chance.
Just a couple of the young players been very important for Westies, and they found some quality in their youngsters, haven't they? Just 19-year-old in Oliver.
Yeah, he looks really good.
So the ball back into play. Here's McCarthy, and he's wrapped up, and that's all a bit of showmanship, really, isn't it? They're all, I think he just wanted to make it look like he was doing something with the ball. He was wrapped up by Ed Richardson.
Westies have want to get it over the other side too. It's a little bit harder scoring from this grandstand side of the Woodville Oval.
So approaching 5 minutes into the second quarter, Westies trailing by 11 points, but in their attacking area, they try to get it forward. McCarthy, another good tackle there. And picked up by Howard, and eventually, well, it's scrambled into the forward 50. At least it's made an entry for West Adelaide. Lindsay on the ground, over the ball, rolling off it. And finally, the umpire says, I'll have it, thank you very much. Blow time off, everybody off. Hahn was the last one up there.
Very scrappy bit of play at this time, and I'll tell you what, Westies want to get a wiggle on. The Eagles started the second quarter very well.
So the ball down, 40 metres from the goals. And Colville, well, he could have got a free kick. He turned it over, gave it back to Hollins, off the left leg, good skills, coming forward. Richardson, 2 grabs, maybe could have paid it. Given what happened at the other end, I would have expected a mark there.
What's Richardson's stats there? How are we going with him?
We have another look, just not enough really purchase on the ball, Michael.
Definitely not a mark that time. They're the ones that he needs to take, though. We see Mellor and Hahn on screen. Ball goes up. Oh, yes. Again, I think that was Skipworth or Gallagher with the ball there. That's a lovely grab by Jason Earl.
Good mark. Richardson's had 1 kick in this game. I suppose I'd expect more from him, the big full forward for West Adelaide.
Absolutely. He needs to involve himself. This guy's involved. Matthew Kluzak. Bad decision there.
Yeah, the ball just rolling off the end of his hand as he tried to hand pass it and get it moving. And obviously Ron Fuller has told his side, let's try and move the ball as fast as we can into the breeze.
Big Benny Marsh now on the ground. He's going to take a run in ruck against Lindsay. Lindsay picks it up below his knees. That's not bad for the big fella. Tumbles it forward with the left foot. In they go hard too. Picked up there by King, that is. Gets the handball out. Again, the umpire's just letting it go. Skipworth punches it forward. Kluzak's was his target, but now it comes out. And that's Bock going into the hot spot, but it's West Adelaide. Oh, I think that was a free kick.
Chubb, yeah, over the shoulder, and it was there, that Chubb, he's doing a good job in defence for West Adelaide. It goes wide to the outer wing. They battle out there. McClure with a chance. He can't get it clear. Another bounce down. 3-2, the Eagles leading West 1-3. We're 7 minutes into this second quarter, but a good start by the Eagles against the breeze.
Well, interesting, that lad there on the boundary. Just, I'm sure he was trying to warm himself up there because it is a bit cool as Westies come clear. They're going to have another forward entry here. What's he got ahead of him? Well, Richardson's come out on the lead and he'll almost be run down, and he was in the end. Good chase, and that's turned over the ball. Manfield kicks it out of defensive area for the Eagles. Crunch under the ball. No free kick. Doesn't matter because the Eagles have got possession anyway. Colville goes into centre half forward. Kluzak does well. Puts himself under it. No free kick again. Could have been one. And the Eagles, well, they're working hard, so are Westies, and the umpires are letting it go. Consistency, I guess. But, gee whiz, it could have been a couple of free kicks in there.
It's cold. It's cold. Now, have a look at the players around that ball. There were 30 players around there. It is a cold day at the Woodville Oval, and they're really getting into it. But have a look at this on the replay. Bang, crunch. Oh, Kluzak come through. Bock goes flying out. Bang! Look at that man on the bottom of the clack was Howard. They still try to battle through there. There it is again. Another hard tackle. Get the head down, and that's footy really rough.
That's it. That's what it's all about. Australian footy. Ball in dispute. Just put it on the line and go and get it. Got it now. He's got a chance to get it. Can't quite pick it up. And we're back into that mode of play where the ball's just in tight, in close. Who's got the strength and who's got the skill to get it out and give their team the advantage? Nobody, except the umpire. He's got the whistle, he's blown it, and he'll restart it.
But the Eagles have got the advantage at the moment with that 3-2, that one against the breeze. Westies are getting sucked in at the moment to get rough and tough, but they've got to get the ball out there and set it up for goals.
Ball's put down now. Big guys go out of Dean Howard. He's been good. He's got the strength, but he's wrapped up again by Mark Jeffries. Coming over from North Adelaide this year to play with the Eagles, who add some skill to the half-forward line. Again, Lindsay gets his hand on the ball. Bock now gets a chance for a clean possession. Just too slow. There's too much pressure out there for that. Beautifully picked up, though, by Skipworth. He goes forward. God goes the spoil. Ball on the ground. Christopher Kluzak gets his foot to the ball. Here's a chance for the Eagles. What can they do? West Adelaide tired up. And this time, I think there'll be a ball up. No, it doesn't. It falls free through Jeffries this time. Over again to Kluzak. He'll get his second. And he does that. There's his third. Good play in the end by Kluzak and the Eagles.
Oh, that was good play there by the... See what I said about brains? You can't win football just by blood and guts alone. And I tell you what, the Eagles have shown a good comeback in this 9 minutes of this second quarter. They've gone to 4-2, the West on 1-3. But it's the brains of players like this. Have a look at this ball come out of there. Heavy tackling on West Adelaide. Lindsay, good handball, out it goes. And that's another good one there by Jeffries into Kluzak, into the open goal. And that's good play by the Eagles against the breeze to the southern end.
Down to Peter on the boundary. A bit of a change there, I see, in the meantime.
Yeah, they've made a change there. They're giving Lindsay a rest and bring on young Walker to do the rucking.
So Walker taken off the ground early, Hayden Walker. Just wasn't getting the ball at centre-half forward. Now he's in the ruck. Ball down in the middle and a quick hand pass out there. And Walker looks like he'll get his first touch. No, he won't. It's cut out by Westies. They get the ball back, or forward at least. Ben Marsh over it now. Players crowd in. Umpire says, thanks, I'll have it. So now a very handy break. 17 points, the Eagles lead it, and they've done well into the breeze. 10 minutes into the second quarter. Umpire puts the ball down, and Marsh, what is becoming an increasingly big frame. He's worked hard in the weights room, obviously. He takes front position. Eventually his side manages to get the ball clear. No, finally it's Hollands. Cassisi's over the ball there as well, and crowding in. Umpire, no choice, I'll have it again.
10 minutes into this second quarter, yeah, West Adelaide now have got to change their game plan. Rather than just get stuck into this heavy stuff, they've got to have one handball or one long kick out of there and get it quickly down to Adam Richardson at full forward, who is freezing down there with the breeze right into his face.
I don't think he's alone. I think there's a few people who will be a little bit cool today. Ball in dispute on the ground.
Have a look at the pack.
Another 12 or 14 players around the ball. Last player up, Chapman there.
You know, Chapman, footballers are funny people, and have a look at
so crowds.
Have a look at the walrus in the crowd.
In the cold weather, you often do. Now, this is what they need. That's a good handball out of there, and away they go. Long kick by Nathan. That's better. Down looking for Mellor over the back. Richardson behind, but there's that strength that the Eagles, through McCarthy, goes wide to Floriani, and the Eagles out of trouble. Good play out on the outer side of the ground, and Prescott has got it. He'll go from centre wing, long, in there, good lead and running in hard. That's good play by Hayden Walker, is it? Up there on the half-forward line. Eagles going into attack. Long and deep. Kluzak nearly made that with a desperate attempt. Skipworth's got it onto the right foot for the Eagles. Good kick. Who's got it in there? They both fall over. Jeffries is up first. What can he do? Goes back the other way. Can he kick it over his head? Back the other way. And it's missed. Oh, after all that, he deserved a goal. It's through for the minor score. The Eagles 4-3. Lead West 1-3.
I think Chris Chubb was just telling him that there was no way that he was going to score a goal that time. Mark Jeffries, when you've got it that close, he likes to kick a goal. But the ball comes back in now, and that's a good kick out to David Oliver. He gets it on the boot, tumbles it forward. Not a good kick. Holland gives him a chance.
Here you go. We'll start an argument. Was that deliberately out? I don't think Darren Holland had any choice.
This is local footy. This is real footy.
Still could be deliberate.
Oh, yes. Anyway, we're back into it, and Holland's got his hands on the ball again. Feeds it out to Cooley. Oh, that time the umpire's blowing the whistle.
Fed it out illegally, according to the umpire. So the free kick will go to Westies, and that'll be Scott Hahn. And, well, off the side of the boot, got it into the central corridor. Didn't mean to, I don't think, and it's been marked there by John McCarthy. Former Kangaroo, very experienced player. A Tasmanian originally, so he'd be used to what is difficult conditions with the breeze, and, well, maybe he's not used to it, as he kicks that bit sloppy. And the Eagles come away with it. Eventually, Prescott, his handball smothered. Finally comes out, I think it was Chapman. And then it came to Gallagher off the left leg. All he managed to do was to get it into Sam Jones, centre-half back for Westies. He considers his options, and he doesn't have many. That's Greg Dempsey sitting on the bench. And kicks long. Eagles, just a little push out there. Finally, it's gathered by Barrett. No, he can't get it. Neither can Hollands. Socket there forward by the Westies player in Mellor. Finally comes back to Hollands, puts the hammer down, and away he goes. Shows his pace and then chips it forward. He's got a running player there for him in Chapman. Chapman gets it out and finally down into the centre-half forward region. But, well, clearing again. Geez, they've done well there at the back. Oh, geez, they let you down, don't they? Finally clearing the ball forward. On the end of it was Gallagher, I think that was. Skipworth, in fact. Now it's bounced forward and over the back and running into an open goal. Jeffries with an opportunity to kick a goal. This time, no mistake. Mark Jeffries adds a goal for the Eagles, and they're looking good, the Eagles. They kick their fifth. 5-3, 33 plays, 1-3-9.
Oh, I can't believe the mistakes the Westies are making now with that short stuff in the middle, but have a look at this good play by Jeffries. Read that like a true forward should. Hard bounce against the breeze, makes it pay, runs his whole 10 metres into the open goal, and the Eagles against this breeze have been terrific. We thought after an ordinary first quarter, but they've now kicked 5-3, West are 1-3, and that's 3 goals to the Eagles against the breeze.
Yeah, you just get the feeling that there's getting some run out of the half-back line for the Eagles. That's the way they like to set it up, but it's Luke Nathan with a handball across there to Simon Munn. But the Eagles through Manfield, that was. He's a big, strong lad. He finds Floriani. A little bit fortuitously, maybe, but John Floriani, he's been in good form this year, collects a lot of possessions on that wing position of his. Considers his options. He's had 10 kicks already for Floriani, so he's doing particularly well. But this time, West Adelaide, the skills are just starting to let them down. Kick this time.
There was a skill letting somebody down, a little bit of a flick pass.
Oh, yep.
And the umpire's pulled it back. It'll be a free kick there to Mark Jeffries, so the Eagles another opportunity to go forward.
Oh, you brought back memories there, the flick pass, Neil. Remember them days, you could throw, you could do anything with those backhanded flips.
Well, Westies perhaps losing a bit of concentration because that mark was left unattended. Ben Marsh, strong mark, because where was that coming through over the
Christopher
back?
Kluzak just went the fly.
He's got to do more of that, Marsh, doesn't he? He needs to do a lot more at this level, and that was a good mark in defence.
Just chips it out to Jones, and he assesses, and they're starting to become fairly stilted, Westies, but they'll push it now to this side of the ground. Paul Jarvis. Jarvis looks to play on, he chips it back in the centre corridor. Well, they've got possession, but that's about it at the moment. Dean Howard now comes out this side of the ground. Simon Munn on the end of it, the 18-year-old. Kicks it forward and over the head of his player there, and Oliver. And now, well, he's lost it. Gallagher takes possession for the Eagles. Regains his feet, chips it up forward. Unlucky, punched away. The wind just held it up. Westies looking to go forward and gathering the ball. Well done there by Ed Richardson. Chips it back in the centre. Look out. Oh, well, he got away with it. Now it's Hollands. Dummies did well. Now on the right leg, chips it up forward, and he's found on the lead Greg Mellor. He'll have a shot for goal. Well, he's looking around, but surely he'll have a shot from goal here. Badly needed one. This would be for Westies.
Yeah, that was good. He lifted his eyes there, and they had to do that to find Mellor. That was a lot better intelligent play by the Bloods. And Mellor, you believe it, in pretty good hands. He's kicked a lot of goals for West Adelaide. 182 games, 291 goals. He's certainly a goal kicker.
24 points the margin, and this to bring it back by the major score, and Mellor's kicked it. So Westies get one back finally. First goal of the second quarter. Remember, they're kicking with the breeze. 2-3 for Westies. That would be 15 points, and the Eagles 5-3-33.
Oh, they needed that desperately, and they're still that 3 goals behind. You can see this there. Good play there. That was good by West Adelaide through Hollands, and that's a well-placed kick. That's what you've got to do. The wind won't get it for you. If you can't kick the distance to goal, you have to find a player. And have a look at that from Mellor. Left foot over on the wrong side for him, over on this left-hand side, but he's whacked it through for a beautiful goal. Good play by the Westies. They needed that. The Eagles 5-3, lead West 2-3.
The restart in the middle now again. And this time again, Dutchy Holland now coming up from his back pocket, gets the handball intercepted, and it's Kasisi. He goes long, looks for the Flyers, but it's only John McCarthy there for the Eagles. Ball first, spills free now for Oliver, pushes the handball forward. Ed Richardson goes in hard, raises the elbow. It's McCarthy butters up. Then Floriani gets the handball off. The whistle has gone, and Floriani, I think, will take. No, it's Gallagher, must have been held without the ball. And he will take the relieving kick from the defensive 50-metre line. Comes out, grandstand side, Walker's in the van. Oh, hits his hand, should have taken that, but he doesn't. Ball spools to the front. McClure's all wrapped up by King.
Peter Caven down on the boundary. I see they're bringing Luke Beveridge. I didn't actually realise he'd gone off, but he's obviously had a rest.
On comes Beveridge for the Eagles, where Gallagher sits down.
Yeah, unusual that was. Neil, that was Beveridge, usually one of the big playmakers sitting on the bench.
Well, Westies, they're breathing again. they looked in trouble before, and they looked like they'd found out that the top half, one of the top sides at least in the competition, was capable of. Jones is running for them now on the far side. They've finally got some run. He's got Marsh ahead of him, opts to go at the kick. It looked a bit sloppy. He goes to Richardson. Adam Richardson couldn't take the mark, and now coming out of defence, the Eagles, they did well. Now it's hand passed across to Manfield. Manfield on the boot, up forward. They've got a couple of players there coming over the back and knocking it away. Westies. Eventually they'll get the ball clear. They did well then. Wow, dropped it. They did well until he dropped the ball. Finally, Matthew Kluzak, hand pass over the top. Manfield's running for him. Manfield's got another player and loose up forward and running in. The hand pass over the top. This should be another goal coming up. You would think the Kluzak and the Kluzak boys are providing all the goals for the Eagles. And the Eagles have their 6th, and that's Chris Kluzak's 2nd for the game. 6-3-39. West Adelaide 2-3-15.
Yes, just some real good, honest running there from the Eagles boys.
Have a look at this in there, the hard stuff. They made some blues, but they get down. Manfield's played well for the Eagles. Have a look at the loose play, and they've used their eyes beautifully, looking up. Good handball there away by Chapman, and Kluzak's kicked 2. Chris Kluzak has kicked 2, and Matthew Kluzak has kicked 3. So out of the 6 that they've got, 5 from the Kluzak boys.
Yeah, it's a good combination up there. They played so well together last year. And Chris coming back into the senior team today, looks like they're going to continue right on. Marsh now takes it out of the ruck, just steps around his man, gets those long strides. That's a better looking entry. Gives Richardson a chance, goes over his head, falls to Ed Richardson. He's in the van, tries to keep it in desperately. I think it's just going to roll out. It does. Peter Caven could just about get a stat down there.
They're running the changes down here, the coaches. Fuller's about to come. Ronnie Fuller's made the changes, and they're going to make it the ruck changes again to give the Walker a rest.
Out of there, they try to get out. Cassisi gets it over to Dempsey's whacked that through. That's nearly the goal of the day. An absolute beauty. West Adelaide get their 3rd at the 21-minute mark of their 2nd quarter as it gets very dark at Woodville. The Eagles 6-3 lead West Adelaide 3-3.
Yes, just the medicine that they required, West Adelaide. At the start of this quarter, I think they had such a good first quarter. They came out with this strong win, thinking it was just going to happen for them. It's taken them 20 minutes to realise, no, we've got to work, we've got to run. And all of a sudden, there's a bit of a spring in the step. Ben Marsh going into the ruck has helped. He's taken a good couple of grabs, and he'll contest again at the centre bounce against Walker. The bounce favours Marsh, gets up and Walker over the top. Straight down to Skipworth. He did particularly well. Oh, that's a nice catch from Kluzak. Goes to his brother and Chris. He jumps early, and that's a good grab as well. Kluzak boys combining. Eagles look good.
Oh, Kluzak to Kluzak. Doesn't sound good if you're an Eagles supporter, and that was terrific. No word saying a double. There's 2 of them out there, and they're burning in the forward lines for the Eagles. In fact, that's why they're in front. The 2 Kluzak. Matthew was brilliant there. Down to Chris, and now Chris will kick for goal. And he'll need a good kick from here. What about 35 metres out?
Chris Kluzak, a slow start to the season. Had a few injury problems apparently in pre-season, but was the Eagles' leading goal kicker last season. And, well, you'd think a professional forward from that distance would have kicked a goal. He's kicked the minor score. The Eagles have kicked 4 goals in this term to 2 from West Adelaide. And both of Westie's goals coming rather late in the quarter.
That's interesting. Gallagher off now, sitting there resting for the Eagles on the bench.
The Eagles playing the zone, and West Adelaide have gone straight down the middle. It gives them a chance. They've got the runners, but Beveridge with pace and strength gets himself over the ball. Ties it up. Colville now got his hand on the ball. He pushes it forward. And again, we see the pack form. The man in white blows his whistle, and in he comes.
Just noticed there, Gary, over beyond that pack was Prescott just standing out there by himself, and he's still out there for the Eagles. But the problem is nobody can seem to shake clear of these pack situations. And again, the heavy tackling and a lot of players around the ball.
Neil, I think you're right. What we spoke about before the game of both these local coaches, Ian Borchard and Ronnie Fuller, I think they're coaching similar types of game.
The ball down and Eagles get it away. Well, the ball blown forward for Westies. Good mark there by Hollands. Ben Hollands, he'll go back. Just looking for a runner. Well, he confuses everybody. Eventually gets onto his left leg, not preferred, but that's a good kick. Richardson goes up, knocked away. Finally, it'll come out of bounds. Commentary side of the ground, grandstone side of the ground, and the majority of people huddled on this side of the ground on what is a breezy day.
And a cold day, but still a good game of footy. ABC Sport from the Woodville Oval.
Tim Symes gets pushed out by Lindsay, who takes control of the ball. The experienced John McCarthy now on the left foot. Puts it out in front of Prescott. He's been impressive both this week and last. He's a good player. He gets it onto his left, tumbles it out to the outer side this time. And again, the ball's out of play. The intensity's lifted somewhat. It's a good game of footy.
Well, 24 minutes in the second quarter it is. Eagles 40, playing West 21. What's that? 19 points. And the Eagles deserve their lead.
Yeah, so a deep in time on, and that lead, still 19 points. Gotten takes the mark defensively for Westies, and he's got a player who's going to be shut down from behind. Well, he was loose for a moment, but Floriani came from behind for the Eagles, and now the Eagles go forward again. They take advantage of the turnover. Running through the middle is Skipworth on the right leg, kicks it forward. Well, he's found another Eagles player. That's Skipworth, in fact. Running through the middle then, that must have been Chapman. So Skipworth ends up with it, and Cluzak with the lead. He almost dropped that, but he relaxed a bit just as the ball came in, but still took the mark. And he knows he's got that strong breeze to kick into, so he's looking to get it up there forward and in a hurry. And the breeze, you can see, just taking it to the left of screen. A big mark over the top there by Ben Marsh. A quick hand pass out. He goes quickly to Sam Jones. Jones, nothing much in front of him in terms of Westies players that are free. He's just got the one, and that's Barrett. And Barrett goes forward. Well, a big mark from behind. He did well then. Young Jarvis. And Jarvis takes the ball, chips it wide again. Just a little bit stilted, Westies.
Yeah, they are. Nathan on the end of that. And I'll tell you what, they need a goal, West Adelaide.
They go into centre half forward, so that's more the style that they're after. The ball falls to the back. Tate, with his experience, was waiting there. He finally gathers it and goes to the boundary line. He'll be satisfied with a throw-in. 19 points the difference down to Peter on the boundary.
Yeah, Westies just made another change there. Tim Symes coming off the bench and David Oliver going on the half-forward flank.
Oh, you just see Ben Watkins sitting there. I'm surprised he hasn't been put back on the ground. He was so dominant in that first quarter. Went off with the blood rule. You can see the zipper appearing over the eye. But I would think that if he's ready to play, I'd get him back on there.
West Adelaide ball. That's a goal, is it? No.
Would have been some goal if he'd got that.
Oh, Dickon.
Goals through the big ones in the middle.
Oh, well, you just looked at there after seeing the changes on the bench then, you thought, oh, he's jagged this as it comes around on the outside. Looked like Barrett was.
It was Barrett, yeah.
And went off just for the minor score. They needed that as it looks very gloomy at Woodville Oval. Looks like we're going to get a bit of rain. The Eagles 6-4, West Adelaide 3-4.
Here's a bet. I bet you Holland kicks this to himself and takes off.
Yes, against the zone. It's a pretty good tactic, but it's the Bloods.
Oh, Neil Cross, you're a ripper.
Here he comes, Dutchy Holland, tucking it under his arm, running out, and the ball's touched by Tate, and Runders over the boundary line. Jamie Tate, not as dominant as we normally see today, still a very good player. And there they are, the footballers of tomorrow, waiting their turn at half-time. They're having some fun, as is everybody here at Woodville Oval. West Adelaide, 27 minutes into that second quarter. Colville wrapped up. Stacks on the mill. Whistle goes. And so does the siren.
Very close. I knew it was close. 27 minutes and they've called a halt to play. 6-4-40 the Eagles. Westies 2-4. Oh, sorry, 3-4, 22. Quite a half of football, Gary.
Oh, that was brilliant. And I tell you what, the Eagles had a terrific second quarter. Their work against the breeze was equal to Westies in the first quarter, and they deserve that 3-goal lead now after a fine second quarter. They've got some good players out there. Colville certainly lifted. Gallagher, Manfield, them type of players have really lifted. With the two Cluzak brothers up there kicking goals, a very good quarter against the breeze by the Eagles.
So 18 points is the margin at half-time. The Eagles lead at 6-4-40. West Adelaide 3-4-22.